What a glorious, beautiful day. Sunny, dry. You're watching the 48th New York City Pride March live on Channel 7.
It's a day of also remembering the history behind the march and the appreciation of what has been what laws have been enacted, legislation that's been made over a period of time, but then a reminder, there's still work to be done.
And we've come a long way, but yet 2017 has been a lot of steps backwards for us in the LGBTQ community with what happened in Orlando and attacked on our own soil in our own safe haven. So it's something that we obviously are fighting to be heard and to be seen and to let them know that it's not okay, and we are here to fight against it.
Actually, there's been a certain amount, a rise in the different groups that are participating in the march because of the legislation and what's going on in Washington, that is sort of to fight and try to preserve the progress that has been made, and as you said, not to step back when you've made the amount of advancements that you have.
And for people who don't realize, Lori Stokes' dad was a United States congressman, not just any United States congressman, co-founded the Congressional Black Caucus, 30 years in Congress, and a fighter for freedoms for everybody. And Lori was kind enough, when we come back on camera here, to give me one of his pocket squares. And I feel like Dad is with us right now.
Well, yeah, he was part of the civil rights movement, and Michelle and I were even talking about this. You know, he represented in Stop and Frisk that individual, John Terry, and then served in the United States for 30 years, House of Representatives. And he, too, talked about the significance of LGBT rights, and that they were an extension of what he fought alongside John Lewis with, the right to be counted as a human being and to have all the afforded rights that anyone else has in this country.
Very smart dad.
Very smart. Miss him.
You know what? Dad lives on forever, Lori. You know that. Hello, everybody. Yes. Beautiful day here. Look at this. It is so comfortable, so sunny, there's a palpable joy from the people who are in this march right now. Everybody cheering with a big smile.
Everyone's blowing kisses. Yes. Everyone is smiling, as you said. And mixed, of course, with all the joy, yes, there's bound to be political statements, of course.
Absolutely.
Let's remember, it was a march.
Amen.
So that's what it still is, and that's what it's all about. But yes, there's a joy that is in unison here as well.
Absolutely. And everyone has that right. This is America. Freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, all the freedoms we have in the Constitution. And the folks here today are expressing that. And in doing so in a safe way, nobody's going to harm them. They're here to have a wonderful time. And that wasn't the case decades ago, sadly.
No, and even a little blending of various different demonstrations. Black Lives Matters being here as well.
Yes. You know. And it wasn't even decades ago, guys. It was just a few years ago.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
We forget about this. We've come a long way really fast.
And of course, we were talking about the history with the Stonewall Inn, but at the same time, we are reminded that even in present day, that the LGBT community still faces discrimination and hatred. And unfortunately, we had, in one of the worst mass murder shootings that we've had here in history, we had a reminder of that in Orlando. Let's take a look.
Yeah, and I lost my dear friend, Eddie Sotomayor. So today, I'm here for him and his memory.
It's a very sweet thing to do. We actually saw a picture of him.
We did. He was up there with those 49 angels looking down on us today. And we're here doing what we're doing because we will not be stopped. And we will not be free.
And I think they're all here in spirit.
I think you're right, yes. And when you see their beautiful faces, you know, and you mentioned your friend Eddie, you have to believe they're looking down on us and saying that, you know, while there's much to celebrate here, that's just one instance where not that night they were celebrating.
Especially now, I keep saying it because it's now more than ever. Now more than ever, we have to rise up. We have to act up. We have to resist. We have to do this stuff right now because we are a focal point. We are getting rights, trying to strip rights away from us as a community. So now more than ever, we have to be vocal. We have to be loud. We have to be proud and come together and not tear each other down from the inside, but build up from the outside.
Beautifully said, Michelle.
Very good point. And you are watching the 2017 New York City Pride March live on Channel 7, the first station ever to bring it to you live, as we remember those who lost their lives at Pulse. So you're watching the 48th annual 2017 New York City Pride March, Channel 7, the first station ever to bring it to you live.
And if you notice, it's very quiet at this moment at the video that we're showing you live right now. These people that are dressed with the white veils overall, dressed in white, are symbolic of the 49 individuals who perished in the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, representing those beautiful lives that were lost. A moment ago, we showed you a video of a tape of those people who were murdered that day in hearts, with the background of hearing the heartbeat.
Which is why we can't forget more than ever, this is a march. It's not a parade. We are here to make our voices heard, let our statements be seen, and to commemorate the ones that are lost and came before us.
And we are very proud as a station, Channel 7, to be the first station to bring this to you live. And the man who made that decision is sitting right next to us. Dave Davis is our president, general manager. Dave, at what point did you consider this parade and broadcasting?
Thank you, Ken, Lori, Michelle. You guys are doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
I would say we're proud to be first, but it took too long. And so here we are. It's great. Are you having a good time?
I'm having a great time. But this is certainly making history. I mean, what we stand for, WABC, itself is inclusion and acceptance and non-discrimination. And it's when we were talking with the gentleman from T-Mobile, we were talking about how it starts from the top down of how you run an organization. And I think that's, when we look at the Pride here, I think that's reflective in how you run the station, and hopefully that's also the same kind of thing that becomes, sort of sets the tone for other dialogue with other stations and other companies. Is that what you sort of hope as well?
Look, I just wanted to show how proud this community is. I hope that in our workplace that all these values are amplified every day. And how we do, we most of what we do is news. You guys are on a lot every morning, all of our newscasts, all of our public affairs program, and hopefully we do that every day. But this is a special day. It's an historic day, so we're just proud to be here.
And it might be late, 2017, but I'm going to say on behalf of the LGBTQI+ community, now is the time, so thank you for allowing us to be on your televisions.
Great. I've just enjoyed. I've been down there in the street the whole time. And there's a lot to see out there.
You think?
There's a lot.
And there's a lot to not be seen.
For those of you watching right now, the things you're not seeing, be glad we filtered them for you.
We do have a 7-second delay, but we haven't had to use it very often.
That's good.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you. We're having a great time. Michelle is such an amazing asset.
Oh, go on.
Oh, stop.
Go on.
Really wonderful.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, too, we want to see your pictures. You can send us a hashtag through the hashtag ABC7NY or hashtag We Are Proud. We'll get those pictures. We'll put them up. We want to see what you're seeing out there.
As you look just down the street and you see just the hundreds of thousands of people that are actually along the march route, let alone on the sides, on the sidewalk. When you think of people have an option to be anywhere today.
Right.
To be the shore.
No better
to
place
be at
to
the
be,
beach. But instead, they've chosen so many people to be here.
Over 2 million.
Yes, to show their support and their understanding of what it's about out here today.
And 37,000 people who are marching. 37,000 people marching in this march. It is not a parade because, again, it commemorates the very first march that occurred after the Stonewall riots in 1969. So it is to make your opinions and your feelings known. As you see, there's
some louder than others.
Statements, yes.
Some louder, yes.
That's what America's about. That's why we're here.
And by the way, if they hadn't been loud in 1969,
amen, honey.
Right?
Amen. That's what we're here to celebrate, commemorate, remember, and never forget.
That's right. Absolutely. We have Lauren Glassberg along the march route as well. She's taken some time. She spoke with Mayor de Blasio a little earlier and his wife. Spoke with Governor Cuomo a little earlier as well. Councilman Johnson, who is openly gay. This is his district. And just about on the political side, what it means to be able to draft legislation, to be with the community, to help them see the needs that they want and make it happen. And speaking of Lauren, she is ready for us to come to her. Lauren?
And you were just talking about drafting legislation, and joining me now is Kiara St. James with the New York Transgender Advocacy Group. For nearly 2 decades, you've been working on trying to draft legislation that prohibits discrimination based on gender.
Yes.
But still so much to be done. Where are we?
So we seem to be at an impasse right now. Currently in the state of New York, 2 years ago, the governor made an executive order so that trans folks are protected. But we want to make sure that gender is a law that is passed by a bipartisan Senate, because that's really important. We want to make sure...
You want full support.
Full support, absolutely. That's really important. So when we talk about gender, you're talking about making sure people have a right to affirm themselves via a job, housing. Currently, 60% of New York State folks are not, if they're trans or gender nonconforming, they're not able to hold a job, or they could be fired and evicted from their housing and fired from their jobs if they are not in a state that is protected. Currently, we're lucky because we live in New York City. We're this bubble that is protected. We've been having local protections for trans folks since 2002. You know, there's other jurisdictions like Buffalo, Albany that has it, but we want to make sure all of New York State is covered. We want to make sure that everyone gets to enjoy the beauty of New York State.
And then other states will look to this state as a guideline, and where the bar is set at the very minimum, with always more to be done. Kiara St. James, thank you for joining us right now. I like the parasol. I might have to steal it from you as I stand under the sun. It is nice when a cool breeze comes by. Thank you so much. And I know we pulled you away from your group, so if you want to run ahead, you can go for that. I just want to show you some of the crowds here, because Lori, Ken, and Michelle, this does not happen without the support of not just the LGBT community, but their friends, their loved ones. And you can see this crowd is deep. It goes about 6 or 7 back, and there's so many rainbow flags, great outfits, costumes. Sometimes you see in this march scantily clad people, and I've seen a few of those, and on this beautiful day, it's the perfect kind of thing to wear. But for the most part, we're just seeing bright rainbow hues of pride and support. People so happy to be here and to be able to be here. Lori, Ken, and Michelle.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lauren. Great job. And once again, we went out of our way to find somebody 2 feet taller than Lauren. We keep getting the tallest people for her to interview. It wasn't planned.
She knew going into it.
Yes.
That was what she was going to have to do.
Absolutely.
But she really shines on
awesome.
events like this. She's great.
Well, you're watching the 48th Annual Pride March here in New York City. This has been going on now for a little over 90 minutes. Beautiful, beautiful day. It's 82 sunny, dry with a nice cool breeze. If you're not outside, you're missing something. So take your portable device, your camera, phone, I should say, your iPad, stream it live at ABC7NY.
Right there, looking at the Granny Peace Brigade.
Did you see that?
Yes,
the raging grannies.
They are opposed to the violence of war and racism, poverty, discrimination since 2005. That's when they were established and expose the increased militarism in schools. They also look to change our country's priorities and provide funding for jobs and healthcare and education and housing, and transition to solar, wind, and sustainable energy. Grandmas. Granny Peace Brigade.
Soaking it all in. 37,000 along the parade route and over 2 million. Look at how deep the Sea of Humanity is on the left and right side there. All these people having a wonderful time on this beautiful day.
And the Physicians for a National Health Program New York Metro chapter just walked by, and they were talking about health care as a human right. And that's a big thing that we face and a big issue that we face in the LGBT community around the country. But it's super important that health care be all-inclusive. And that's, you know, an issue. Right. So we've got to change that and be all-inclusive for everybody.
There are times when they are turned away.
Many times.
Yes. And that is something that definitely needs to be addressed and has been addressed. But the struggle continues.
All right, let's have some more entertainment right now, shall we?
Ken has been waiting for this.
She's one of my favorite people.
It's gorgeous.
This is Dina Delicious with a performance on our stage.